Good evening. Less than 24 hours to go in this transfer window. There really is only one place to start, and that's with Arsenal and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. And we are told he's on the verge of joining Liverpool for £35 million. The move is subject to Oxlade-Chamberlain agreeing personal terms and passing a medical. The medical has been taking place at England's training camp tonight, and it's our understanding he will earn considerably less than if he'd signed Arsenal's contract offer. Now, Oxlade-Chamberlain turned down a move to Chelsea yesterday because his preferred destination was Anfield, and now it appears he has his wish. More from Liverpool to come in a moment, but with Oxlade-Chamberlain leaving Arsenal, the attention now switches to Alexis Sanchez. Sources close to the deal claim Manchester City still want to sign Sanchez after having a £50 million bid rejected. Arsenal don't want to sell, but were considering a swap deal involving Raheem Sterling. City, though, want a straight cash offer. Sanchez is currently in Chile with the national team. Now, another player Arsenal want to keep is their defender, Shkodran Mustafi. Sky in Italy claim Inter Milan want a loan with an obligation to buy for £23 million if the German international plays in 50% of their games this season. Arsenal signed him, you'll remember, for £35 million from Valencia last summer, and it's understood they expect him to stay at the Emirates. As promised, back to Liverpool, and they have other targets. They remain interested in the Monaco winger, Thomas Lemar. They've had 2 bids rejected. Will they go back in for a third time? Monaco's stance has not changed. They would prefer Lemar to stay, given the number of high-profile departures during this summer. Now, staying with Liverpool, is the Philippe Coutinho saga over, or is there still time for one late twist? Coutinho is training in Brazil with the national team. He remains desperate to join Barcelona. Barca say they will sign 1 or 2 players by the deadline. Coutinho has recovered from a back injury, which the Brazil doctor said had been brought on by emotional stress. Now, one extra dimension to this is the following. The Spanish window shuts 24 hours after the English window closes, so an extra day perhaps for Barca to get a deal done. Now, one man who is closer to an Anfield exit is the striker Divock Origi. Wolfsburg are hoping to take the Belgian international on loan for the season. We are told Liverpool are open to the idea of Origi going abroad for first-team football. What about other potential departures at Liverpool? Will Crystal Palace go in for a 4th time for the defender Mamadou Sakho? Their last bid was worth £25 million. Liverpool want 30, something that Palace are fully aware of. And Mamadou is not the only Sakho Palace are after. We are told they have made a £10 million bid for West Ham striker Diafra Sakho. That news came at the end of an eventful day for the player. He passed the medical with French club Rennes and discussed personal terms. All of this without West Ham's permission. Now, Rennes' offer was £9 million. Since then, co-chairman David Gold has said Sakho is not for sale. West Ham are waiting to see if he returns to the club tomorrow and believe he's been badly advised. Meanwhile, West Ham are in talks with Lorient striker Abdul Majid Varis. The Ghana international is currently in London. He is, we understand, one of a number of options. Now, back to Palace, and they could be busy in the final hours. They are interested in the winger Demarai Gray, but Leicester are adamant they don't want to sell and are currently negotiating a new contract with the player. We are told Bournemouth are remaining keen on Gray. Now, there was talk of a swap between Palace and Leicester, with Andros Townsend moving to the King Power Stadium. Townsend's representatives have told me today, though, that any move will be a straight cash deal. Townsend will not be involved in any swap. Leicester will need to pay £25 million to get Andros Townsend. Staying with Leicester, what about the future of Riyad Mahrez? Well, there's been plenty of talk all window and plenty of admirers, but no further offers since Leicester rejected Roma's bids. More and more likely, Mahrez will be a Leicester player come Friday morning unless something spectacular happens on deadline day. One man close to leaving Leicester is the forward Ahmed Musa. We are told Hull are in talks to sign the player on a season-long loan. Musa played under Hull boss Leonid Slutsky when they were at CSKA Moscow together. Staying with Leicester City, and now to the latest on Danny Drinkwater. The midfielder handed in a transfer request on Monday to push through a move to Chelsea, but we are told the clubs are still apart on their valuations. Leicester want at least £35 million, but are not keen on a late deal as they will have no time to bring in a replacement. Now, Drinkwater isn't the only English midfielder that Chelsea are keen on. They remain interested in Everton's Ross Barkley, but this one is complicated by a hamstring injury that will keep Barkley out until November. Barkley has 11 months left on his contract and he will not be signing a new one. With a day left, Diego Costa remains a Chelsea player. But has there been a breakthrough? Reports in Spain claim a deal has been struck for a fee of £50 million. Chelsea have declined to comment. Atletico Madrid's president says he's optimistic a move can happen before the deadline. Remember, Atletico have an extra day to get this one over the line. Now, could Chelsea bring in a striker themselves? Well, talks are progressing with Swansea City over Fernando Llorente. Boss Antonio Conte tried to get him in January and he knows the player very well. They won Serie A together at Juventus. Swansea will only let him go if they can get a replacement. And they have one lined up already in their former striker, Wilfried Bony. We are told a deal is in place for his return should Llorente leave. Swansea sold Bony to Manchester City for £28 million 2.5 years ago. Staying with Swansea, and what a coup this one could be. We are told they are close to agreeing a loan deal for, believe it or not, the Bayern Munich midfielder Renato Sanchez. Despite interest from other clubs, Sanchez was keen on Swansea because of his relationship with Swansea boss Paul Clement. They worked together when Clement was assistant manager to Carlo Ancelotti. Who else could be arriving at the Liberty Stadium? Well, they remain keen on the West Brom winger Nacer Chadli, but don't seem willing to meet the £25 million valuation. Chadli is with the Belgian squad, but provision has been made for him and others to leave the camp to sort out their futures. Now, another player whose future could be away from West Brom is, of course, the defender Jonny Evans. No improved offer for Manchester City yet, but every expectation there will be. Evans is with Northern Ireland. They happen to be using City's training ground as their base. You can't make it up. Boss Michael O'Neill is confident Evans won't be affected by the potential disruption. Now, West Brom are pushing on with signings themselves, where they have completed a loan deal for PSG holding midfielder Grzegorz Krychowiak. Practice that one. The Poland international only moved to PSG last summer from Sevilla for £28 million. And West Bromwich Albion, they have also signed the Arsenal defender Kieran Gibbs. He has signed a 4-year contract today. The fee is understood to be £7 million. Time is running out in this transfer window. Let's go to what could eventually be the second biggest transfer of all time. We still expect Monaco striker Kylian Mbappe to move to PSG before the deadline. The deal is likely to be a loan with an obligation to buy as PSG aim to comply with financial fair play rules. Could soon be a departure at Paris Saint-Germain. Serge Aurier's representatives have told Sky Sports News his move to Tottenham is effectively done. We've been told the player has been granted a work permit, enabling him to finalise his transfer. The clubs agreed a £23 million deal last week, and Aurier has completed his medical and sorted personal terms. We await a formal announcement from both clubs on that one. Now, Tottenham have today completed signing number 3 in this window. Estudiantes defender Juan Foyth has joined on a 5-year contract. He's featured 12 times for Argentina's under-20s. To Southampton, and it's all gone quite quiet as far as Virgil van Dijk is concerned. Lots of rumours yesterday the player was flying to Liverpool, but we are told he is continuing to report for training at Southampton every day. However, he trains on his own and away from the first team. Now, one man who has left St Mary's is Jordi Clasie. The Dutch midfielder has joined Club Brugge on loan for the rest of this season. Let's head to Stoke City now. And is their incoming business done for this window? Well, they were interested in the Manchester City midfielder Fabian Delph, but we hear that's now unlikely to happen. One man on his way out of Stoke City, though, is the defender Philippe Volscheit. He has joined French club Metz after he and Stoke agreed to terminate his contract, which just had 1 year left to run. To Newcastle United we go now, and this one is interesting. They're in talks with Fulham about the sale of last season's top scorer, Dwight Gale. We're told Newcastle value Gale at £20 million and will only sell him if they can bring in a replacement. One man, though, who has left Newcastle United today is the defender Grant Hanley. The Scottish international has joined Norwich City on a 4-year deal. One more line to bring you comes from Burnley. and we are told they are close to signing the Huddersfield Town striker Nahki Wells. Huddersfield boss David Wagner has made no secret that the club were listening to offers. What a transfer window this is, and what a deadline day we have in store. Huddersfield have been the busiest. They've made 13 signings. Liverpool are spending money, and they are spending it late. Could there yet be more additions at Anfield tomorrow? Manchester City are the biggest spenders so far, and they want Sanchez and they want Evans. Sitting back and watching it all, it seems, is Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho. He got his business done early. For the rest, time is running out. Deadline day is looming, and you won't miss a thing right here on Sky Sports News as we head full speed towards an 11 p.m. deadline. That's tomorrow night.